and prosperous and educationally enriched 2011. With that, we will call our meeting to order. The first action item is the approval of the minutes of November 1st, 2010. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Thank you very much. I will now call on Executive Vice President and Provost Alexander Logue to introduce item 1B1, revisions to the university's tobacco policy.
Thank you. This policy states that effective no later than September 4th, 2012, CUNY would prohibit the use of tobacco on all grounds and facilities under CUNY jurisdiction, including indoor locations and outdoor locations such as playing fields, entrances, and exits to buildings and parking lots. Also prohibit tobacco industry promotions, advertising, marketing, and distribution of marketing materials on campus property, and tobacco industry sponsorship of athletic events and athletes. This resolution updates, expands, and supersedes the policy enacted by a Board of Trustees resolution effective January 1st, 1995, which prohibited smoking inside all facilities, including vehicles operated by the university. As the nation's largest public university, as a source of thousands of health professions graduates, and as the home of the new CUNY School of Public Health, CUNY has an opportunity and a responsibility to set appropriate standards as an example for universities seeking to protect the health of their students and employees. This policy promotes basic values of 21st century American higher education, which are cultivating respect for others, emphasizing the importance of health and wellness, supporting environmental sustainability, and preparing students for professional success in increasingly tobacco-free workplaces.
That's it?
That's an introduction.
Oh, okay. Any questions? Comments?
Okay.
May I have a vote of approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 2, amendment to Article 6 of the bylaws of the City University of New York. And Vice Chancellor Logue.
Okay, this amendment clarifies Section 6.2C of the bylaws. That section specifies that one of our colleges can appoint with immediate tenure at the board's discretion someone who has tenure at a prior institution and holds the rank of full professor, but that language in Section 6.2C does not allow such to be done for people who hold the rank of associate professor. That it is traditional at good universities in the United States to be able to give immediate tenure to somebody who's had tenure as an associate professor at a previous university, and so this corrects that omission in our bylaws.
Thank you.
So moved.
It's been moved, and may I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. And continuing on with Vice Chancellor Logue, items 1B3.
Get it over with.
Okay. All right. This is revisions to the Board of Trustees Statement of Policy on multiple positions. To summarize, the changes are all indicated here. To summarize them, the idea is to make certain changes that bring our policy to be consistent, again, with good universities in the United States, some aspects of it, and also to give campuses more flexibility in their ability to have faculty do additional work.
So moved.
It's been moved. May I have a comment?
Yeah, I did have a comment. I think there is little consensus, I think, in the executive committee of the Faculty Senate about the wisdom of this. There are very strong concerns that it sends the wrong signal about the value of research because essentially it encourages, especially people who have release time and so forth, to do more teaching than research. I also personally question whether it's going to achieve the result that is mentioned in the attachment here, that it will serve to increase participation by full-time faculty, particularly in weekend courses and evening courses and so forth. It's been my experience that those are, despite all the best efforts of the college administration to try to encourage full-time faculty to actually teach those courses, they tend to be taught by adjuncts, exclusively by adjuncts, and my guess is that they will continue to be taught by adjuncts. The reason for that, I believe, is that many of the new faculty we've hired, and I'm speaking specifically of the community colleges where I have some experience, generally don't want to increase their teaching load. They're much more interested in publication. Of course, many of them are on the tenure track, so their concern is that they meet their publication requirements. And the older faculty, such as myself, who do a fair amount of overload teaching, tend to teach the more agreeable time slots. So I think you're going to find that pretty much what happens now will continue to happen, that summer, weekend, and that sort of thing will tend to be covered by adjuncts. And I think you may actually see some impact on research overall. So for those reasons, I think many of us within the Faculty Senate are really wary of this policy. We understand the reasons why it's been put forward, and we understand that there are issues in terms of covering classes, and we've seen quite an increase in enrollment, but we really question the wisdom of moving ahead with this.
Yeah, I should note that this policy doesn't say that a faculty member, if they want to do extra teaching, can just do it. They need to have permission in order to do it. And in fact, in the case of non-tenured, tenure-track faculty, it says that the ordinary course of business is that they not do any overload teaching. But what this does is to allow, there are particular circumstances where someone is an active researcher but also is needed to teach an extra course, that it is possible for that to happen. So it's to allow flexibility, but there still is, and there are also statements in the policy which says how important it is that faculty conduct research.
I may, in addition to the comments that my colleague made, those of us who are worried about loosening these policy restrictions are also concerned about the problem of getting senior faculty to participate in governance committees and the kinds of work that colleges need to go forth that take time but have no particular financial reward. And we hate loading the younger ones with those jobs. I'm just concerned that this is going to be yet another way in which we're going to have the problem of engaging senior faculty in what I think they have to do besides their own teaching and research. In all honesty, the faculty is very divided. There are a lot of people who think this is a great way to increase the amount their pension will pay and their income. And that has to be balanced against the demands and the rightful demands of a department on the time of its faculty that it has hired to do what's expected of them, which is teach, but also all these other committees, some of which can take 30, 40 hours a week if you take them seriously. So, there's a conflict, a conundrum between the individual rights to choose extra income and the group or the needs of the department and the campus. And I, for one, have never been in favor of any of much of this, and loosening it is something that troubles me even more completely.
Let me just say, in addition to the fact that the document does state how important it is for faculty to do research and that permission is needed, the previous policy allowed for faculty to do both 1 day of consulting a week and do overload teaching.
That's why
Which,
we have a problem.
yeah, there was no, this policy, what it does is to combine the two so that together they do not represent more than is, the amount that was intended from the beginning. So this actually limits, in some ways, faculty ability to do outside work in ways that was not true before.
It does, of course, increase the amount of work, though, a faculty member can do. I mean, in my own case, for example, with release time and so forth, now I can teach that extra semester, an extra course that extra semester that I couldn't before. And, you know, I probably will do it because, quite frankly, it's a nice way to try to keep yourself afloat financially. But
see, before you could have also done 1 day of consulting a week in addition. Now you can't do
yeah,
that.
but that's, for most faculty, that's not really an option.
Historians are not invited to
Yeah, and
consult.
philosophers either, they're not terribly, unless it's bioethics or something like that. But, and while it's true, as you say, that permission must be granted, this always goes through a P&B, I sit on a departmental P&B, and I know how often permissions are denied, which is to say not at all. So I don't think that in the end you're going to see any, you know, a substantial weighing of these things. If somebody applies and wants to do it, it'll happen. Our concern, again, is it's I think, very uncertain what kind of numbers you're going to see in terms of faculty moving over to do extra teaching or things of that nature. But I think it sends at the best a double message about the value of research. On the one hand, research is, as you say, something that is encouraged in the document, but it also at the same time is saying, well, but we'd really like you to do a lot of extra teaching if, in fact, you're willing to do it. You may not be saying that, but the college may say that. It looks very good when full-time faculty are in the classroom, particularly on the weekend and the summer and so on and so forth.
Question, please, question.
Question? Call for the question now.
Aye.
You have a move?
Have a motion?
You have a motion? And
I
you need a
moved it.
second.
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 Nothing like being shown.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please
Aye.
say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention?
Extension.
Thank you. Vice Chancellor Waters.
Item 1B4 is a continuation of military leave and employer-paid health and welfare benefits coverage for university employees recalled from the reserves to active military service. This authorizes the continuation of military leave and health and welfare benefits for the university employees who are members of the National Guard, Reserve Forces, or reserve components of the Armed Forces of the United States. This resolution continues these benefits that the board has approved in the past through December 31st of 2011 in response to the need for employees to serve in the armed forces in light of the continuing evolution of the response to September 11, 2001 and a wider campaign against terror, including military action in Afghanistan.
May I have a motion for approval?
So move.
Second? It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you very much. I will call on Associate Dean Judy Watson to introduce item 1B5, a naming at the CUNY Graduate School of Journalism. You were commenting, we believe this is our first at the School of Journalism.
It is the first center, the first and only center. Would you like an explanation of this item?
Yes, please.
Okay. The Graduate School of Journalism has received a $6 million grant, $3 million from the Tao Foundation and $3 million from the Knight Foundation to establish the Tao Knight Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism. This center, the $6 million is funded over a 5-year period, and is to create a center to create, help create sustainable journalism. And it will have sort of three-pronged features, one being education. We are developing a master's degree in entrepreneurial journalism, the first in the country. That will have to go through the trustees as well as through the State Board of Education. We're hoping, in fact, that's underway right now. We have something that's almost to be sent to the trustees. We will also create a certificate in entrepreneurial journalism for mid-career journalists to help bring them back and train them in
give them some entrepreneurial training so that they can go and create new journalistic enterprises. And our students will also be trained to do that. That's the ultimate goal. That's the education piece. We will do research in new methods of new business models for news. And we will share our research. We'll do 2 or 3 research projects per year. And we'll be sharing that with the industry, new ways to create sustainable journalism, new things that successful journalism enterprises are doing around the world to bring in additional income or replace income or create different kinds of advertising. The third piece will be to create entrepreneurial fellows. We will hand out fellowships to at least five of the students from the program annually to effectively remain at the school, incubate their projects, and hopefully then take them out into the world and either sell them or be hired by ongoing journalistic enterprises to bring them into their businesses and help them thereby be more sustainable. Eventually, we hope to create an entrepreneurial investment fund. This will require, that will be associated with the school, but that will require a lot of legal, we'll have to jump through a lot of legal hoops before we're able to do that. But those are the 3 parts of the program. I should say that the chancellor actually was the start of all of this by introducing the school to Leonard Tao, who is already known to CUNY because Leonard Tao is a Brooklyn graduate and has recently funded a $10 million performing arts center at Brooklyn College. And what the chancellor did was, in talking to him one day, learned that he was talking to Columbia about making a grant to Columbia. And the chancellor said, we have a journalism school of our own. And he came in and we chatted with him. And pretty soon he gave a grant. The foundation gave a grant both to CUNY Journalism School and to Columbia Journalism School. So we have equal time.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstention? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Wow, Vice Chancellor Logue, you're on. Item B, 1B6 through 1B9, the appointments of 4 distinguished professors.
Okay, it's a pleasure to present these 4 candidates for the for distinguished professor. The first one is Susan Buck-Morse for Distinguished Professor of Political Science at the Graduate Center. She comes from Cornell University, where she was the Jan Rock Zubrow 77 Professor of Social Sciences. She is a renowned political scientist whose expertise in the area of political theory extends into other areas of the social sciences and humanities. She's the author of 5 acclaimed books, which have been translated into 10 different languages, including Swedish, Urdu, and Turkish. She's one of the most prominent and influential social and cultural theorists writing in the world today, and she's received numerous prestigious honors and fellowships, including a Guggenheim, 2 Fulbrights, a Getty Fellowship, and a John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation International Peace and Security Fellowship. That's the first one. The second one, should I just keep going?
Yes, please.
Okay, the second one is Robert Reed Farr for Distinguished Professor of English, also at the Graduate Center. He's a renowned scholar in African American literature, American studies, and lesbian, gay, and queer studies. He is one of today's leading figures in theoretical and cultural studies. He has been at the Graduate Center since 2001. He earned his PhD in American Studies from Yale. I just thought I'd mention that. He's written many books. He's widely praised for both his scholarship and his teaching. He receives particular admiration from other eminent scholars for the boldness of his intellectual engagements and for his ability to illuminate a range of interdisciplinary interests. So that's the second one. The third one is Sarah Schulman for Distinguished Professor of English at the College of Staten Island. She is a globally acclaimed as a novelist, playwright, filmmaker, and activist. She's recognized for her major contributions to general historical and art-related fields of study, as well as for her groundbreaking work in lesbian and gay culture. She's been at Staten Island since 1999. She's a prolific writer with more than a dozen books of fiction and nonfiction, plus multiple produced plays. She is the co-founder of the ACT UP Oral History Project, which was established in 2001 to document the lives and strategies of members of the AIDS activist organization ACT UP New York. She has also received many numerous honors and awards, including a Guggenheim, an appointment to the Harvard University Kennedy School Advisory Collective for the Carr Center for Human Rights and Social Movements. The fourth candidate is Douglas Whalen for Distinguished Professor of Speech, Language, and Hearing Sciences at the Graduate Center. He comes to us from the Yale University-affiliated Haskins Laboratories, where he has served as Vice President of Research and Senior Scientist. He is one of the world's leading scientists in the fields of speech and phonetics. He's an internationally recognized linguist and one of the foremost authorities on language documentation and preservation. He also earned his PhD in linguistics from Yale in 1982. For the 2 years from 2006 to 2008, he was program director at the National Science Foundation for Documenting Endangered Languages and Cognitive Neuroscience. And as such, he distributed $10 million a year in funding. He's also the founding president of the Endangered Language Fund, Inc., which is a non-governmental organization that provides grant support enabling work on any of the world's endangered languages.
Thank you. And I just want to point out that Dr. Buck Morris is a Georgetown graduate. Since we're holding.
May I move these appointments?
It's been moved. May I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstention? The motion carries. Thank you very much. I will now move to, I would like to call President Matos Rodriguez to introduce item 1C1, appointment of a vice president for institutional advancement at Hostess Community College.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the Board of Trustees and members of the senior administration here at CUNY. I'm delighted to recommend the appointment of Ms. Ana M. Carrion Hagel as the Vice President for Institutional Advancement at Eugenio Maria de Hostos Community College, effective January 18th, 2011. We had a national search for this position. We had hundreds of applications. We had a search committee that represented different aspects of the campus community, and we also included Dean Carlos Flynn from the Central Administration in the search process. Just to give you a sense, that position at Hostos has government affairs, has public relations and marketing, and philanthropy and fundraising under the portfolio. So it's very difficult to identify someone that has all those skills. And we're delighted to say that Ms. Carrion Hagel has expertise and experience in all of those three areas. And she's been a senior communications and intergovernmental affairs expert with experience in state and federal and U.S. Hispanic and small business markets. She has served as the executive level advisor and press secretary to high-level elected officials, including 2 governors of Puerto Rico and 2 congressmen. She's also, in the last 2 years, been the president of her own fundraising company, Interactiva, and in those 2 years, she identified over 15 grants totaling over $18 million with a batting average of 80% of the grants submitted. We did tell her that we expect her to increase that batting average when she comes to Hostos and she joins us hopefully with the board approval. You have her resume and work experience with her. She's had also a former communications company for 7 years. She has worked with the Democratic National Committee, with the Small Business Administration, so has ample experience. She has, and I don't want to get into any turf issues here, but she has a BA from Georgetown University in psychology, a master's from American in public communications, and is married to a Yale graduate.
Oh, there you go.
Just to cover all my bases. So, again, the committee, the search committee recommended her. I interviewed her. I'm delighted that she decided to join the Hostos family, and I look forward. I politely and very enthusiastically ask you for her endorsement.
Well, may I have a motion for approval
So
after that
moved.
wonderful introduction? May I have a second? It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, the motion carries. Welcome to
Congratulations.
Thank you, and I just want to say I'm extremely honored. I'm extremely honored to be here and to become part of the CUNY family. I definitely look forward to advancing the mission of Hostos. It's very dear to me. I'm from Puerto Rico, and my father always said that education was number one, number two, and number three. And I had many brothers and sisters, 7 in total, and that's his legacy. He passed away, and that's what he gave us. So it's very, very, very dear to my heart. And I definitely hope that my background, my professional background, my personal background, and my Georgetown grad and husband being from Yale will definitely put me in a position to advance the institutional advancement division of Hostos Community College. So I really thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, and once again, welcome. Thank you. I'd like to call on Sabrina Alice, Assistant Vice President for Human Resources at the City College of New York, to introduce item 1C2, appointment of interim provost and senior vice president at the college.
Good evening. I just wanted to say that I'm here representing President Lisa Stiano-Cortez this evening, and as well Dr. Juan Carlos Mercado, who we're presenting, who's traveling in Argentina and is due back tomorrow. But the City College would like to request the interim appointment of Dr. Juan Carlos Mercado. He's been at City College since 1999. And in the time that he's been there, he's served in a variety of roles. He has served as a professor of foreign languages, a chair of foreign languages, and most recently has served as dean of our Center for Worker Education. Prior to coming to City College, he also served in a variety of roles at the University of Pennsylvania, where he also left there as a tenured professor and chair of the Foreign Languages Department. We're requesting that the appointment be made for a period of up to 6 months until August 1st of 2011, while we conduct a nationwide search for a permanent replacement for our provost.
Thank you. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, the motion carries. Thank you very much, and congratulations to the professor. Section 2 contains 6 reappointments of faculty members with early tenure that appear on the agenda for information purposes only and do not require a report or a vote by the committee. I'd just like to note a change in the effective date for Michael Lewis at the School of Social Work. It should read September 1st. It reads September 1st, 2011. It should be September 1st, 2010. We will now go to the information items.
Just skip to me
Just
for
go,
my report.
and then and then we'll go to Vice Chancellor Waters for her report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to note that there are, as of today, 3 appointments below the level of Vice President that will appear on the Chancellor's University report. 1 at Medgar Evers and 2 at the central office. There's also a search waiver at the central office for someone who was on soft money who is being transferred over to the tax levy funding, and thus there's a search waiver needed. But that is all of the reports that I have this evening.
Well, that's, Mr. Chancellor, do you have any
think everybody's ready to go home.
There being none, are there any, may I have a motion for adjournment?
So
So moved.
Second?
Good, I got it.
Thank you very much and Happy New Year.